In the gym and in the car, with our advice you could go far. We fuck things up and we make mistakes, and talk about our sexy dates. We host events and go to clubs, but most of all we're still in love. It's getting hard for this to rhyme, just as well 'cause it's bed hopping time. Hello and welcome to the Bed Hoppers podcast. My name's Mr. H.
I am Mrs. H.
Thank you ever so much for joining us today on this, the day, if you're listening to this on the normal release day of my birthday.
Oh my God, but that's in the future for now.
Happy birthday
You can't
to
sing
me.
yourself happy birthday.
I didn't say happy birthday or sing
you
it.
said happy birthday.
I know I did. How clever am I? I've got around
It's
all
not
of your
birthday
rules.
yet, you know.
It will be soon enough. It is the birthday month, the month of birthdays.
Yeah.
The time when everyone can gather around and celebrate the birth of me. Yes, that's right, me, baby.
The most important day of the year.
Definitely, it's the most wonderful day of your year. Not and
Hang
yours
on,
and mine.
but now you're
Another year older, but not another year wiser.
You don't know how old you are,
I
but
don't.
also you're using a Christmas song to signify your birthday, and you don't like that.
No, I
'cause
don't.
you've got
Well,
Christmas birthday, but you don't like it
because my birthday is very close to Christmas. I don't like the two conflagulating. Is that a thing? Conflagulating? I don't know. One of those.
I think you've made a word of it, babe.
I don't know. The two smashing together. I don't like that. But other than that, I'm looking forward to continuing the celebrations for my birthday. We already had some celebrations this
have.
weekend just gone. We had some nice Chinese food. We went out for karaoke with some lovely peeps. That was awesome. And then there's some other stuff happening this weekend.
Yeah.
But I don't know exactly what it is.
You think you do.
I don't I could guess, but I'd probably guess wrong.
I mean, you're an intelligent guy. Come on, you've got this.
Oh, yes, I am, and many would argue with
As
you.
you keep telling me.
But I'm sure I could figure it out. But I'm sort of not saying what I think it is because I just want to
destroy the mystery.
Yeah,
You want to keep the magic alive.
Yeah, it's good. It's fun. It's enjoyable, and it's nice not quite knowing, but probably knowing. And then I can be all smug when whatever happens, if I don't tell you what it is, I can be like, I knew this is, it could be like a party with 80 people. And I'd be like, I
You'd
knew
hate
this.
that.
I know I would. I knew this is what it is all along or what it was. So yeah, so I am celebrating my birthday on the day that this comes out officially. Patron listeners may have listened to it before then.
In which case it won't be your birthday for them.
No, it's not. No, it's still plenty of time to send me a present and send me stuff. It's cool. I appreciate the love. Thank you in advance, everyone.
God.
So moving swiftly onward. So one thing that I want to mention before we jump into the main cut and thrust of this episode is that we do have a very limited number of hotel tickets left for our Candyland event in January.
Very few. They're going really fast.
They are going like hotcakes, which aren't strictly candies, but should be. Hot tamales.
Hot tamales is a candy.
As a
You can
candy.
have that.
They are going like them.
They're the ones that are like spicy jelly beans, but they're not really that spicy.
Yeah, like medicinal jelly beans, which I think is something different.
That's something very different.
Maybe. But anyway, they are going fast. There are still club tickets available, OBS. But if you want to pick up one of them, you're more than welcome to. Use the link on this podcast, right?
Cool.
On the show notes. You remember those?
What episode number is this?
I don't know. It's like 195,
Wow,
194.
it's edging closer to the 200.
It is I'm not a massive fan of edging, if I'm really honest, but we are indeed edging closer. But the important bit is, so if you want to come along to our event in January, what date is it?
17th and 18th of January.
Which is a hotel and club takeover with lots of cool edutainment, fun and games, mingles, all that kind of good stuff.
Loads of people.
With some awesome people. And already the chat group is open and it's delightful. I'm enjoying it.
I think we've
much
announced today there's the performer that's going to be there.
Yeah, there's going to be a
as
performer, not just me parading around. All these cool things are happening and you can get tickets to that bit. Or if you just fancy hanging around with our wider crew and all the people coming along, you can just get some club tickets and come along on the night. If you can't make the day bits, that's okay too. Just do that bit. Yeah. Either way, I think this is a great way to kick fucking moody January blues in the balls and have a nice time.
Yeah, because it's like January is always a bit flat.
Yeah, I like having something to look forward to in January. It's going to be cool.
Yeah.
So we're getting ever closer to New Year's Eve. That's going to be a fun thing. We're looking forward to that.
You're going to split small trousers?
I'm going to try not to split trousers.
Good. It's the right answer.
But there is no guarantee in this world.
If I have to take the broken trousers back to the same poor dude who fixed them last time, I think you remember them.
Well, I did have my work Christmas party, and I wore the same trousers to that, and I was cutting some moves, less thrusty, less rolling around on the floor, but moves nonetheless, and they did not break. So I'm hopeful that my trouser situation is now resolved.
Well, I'm sure you resolve it again for everyone on New Year's Eve.
By removing my trousers?
There you go. There it is.
A problem solved.
To protect the trousers.
Yes, I shall remove them and fold them gently, or hand them to you to fold them in a way that you do.
I have never seen you fold trousers neatly ever.
But even if I have folded them, you'll still pick them up and put them down.
Of course I will.
In a way that works for you.
Not done to my liking.
Exactly. Anyways, so we've got New Year's Eve coming up.
Yep.
We've got this time round for this particular episode, we've got another interview for you. So again, we've continued down this road of talking to lots of different people, asking them some really interesting questions. Hopefully you found it interesting, getting to know them a little better and helping you get to know them a bit better so you can relate to their journeys and see what they've been doing and just be a bit nosy. And then you can look up on Swinghub and see what they look like as well, which is pretty sexy.
That's always good.
That's always good fun, right? Yeah. So this time around, we've got the delightful Shiv and Tom.
We do.
And so it starts off a little bit rocky in terms of us trying to work out where we know them from. It's not that bad. But once it gets going, it's a little bit echoey on the audio. That's because there are four of us yelling in a room pretty much and laughing. But stay with it. The content, I think, is really cool. I think you'll really enjoy it. And I think you'll love hearing from Shiv and Tom. So let's play the thing.
We've got something that's just for you. Holy shit, it's an interview.
I'm delighted to welcome to the show today. We have with us the lovely Shiv and Tom. They are a couple that we have met through our socials. Is that right?
No, none of that was true. That's all lies. They're not people. They're not called Shiv and Tom.
They're definitely called Shiv and Tom. And they're with us today.
Thanks for joining us.
Some wine and we're going to have a good natter.
This is going to be an interesting bumpy ride, folks. Strap in and strap on because you're going to have some funny. Welcome, folks. You can speak at any time. Feel free to join us.
Not at the same time, though, because that will drive him mad.
So I can edit this. It's fine.
Oh, she's waving. Okay.
Thanks for having us. It's really good to be here.
You are welcome. You realise this is an audio medium and not a visual medium, yes?
Putting a hand up was to say I can speak. But yeah, no, lovely to meet you, to be here and be on the podcast.
Thank you. We should have had like a conch of speech, like in Lord of the Flies, where you need to hold the conch in order to be able to speak.
No, we don't have one.
No, it's not going Lord of the Flies way.
We have an abundance of shoes in here. I suppose we could have a shoe.
A shoe conch.
A shoe conch, that's not the same.
I don't think so.
No.
Anyways, we've got some questions for you folks because we want people to get to know you better. And this is all designed to weed out all of these wonderful things that you've got inside your brain and share them with the world. Are you ready?
Yeah, why not?
Hopefully.
They look terrifying.
I know, they do look really, they've been really calm and tranquil and happy. And now they look really
because
worried.
you've been feeding them wine and watching YouTube. And now you've thrown them in. We've only had a couple of drinks.
Slight interrogation vibes in this room. It's like a dark.
Yeah.
Ja, wer kommt am besten zum Rathaus? I don't know where the town hall is either.
No, we're not.
But anyways, given the fact that this is an audio medium,
Yes.
could you describe each other?
Yeah.
Could you describe Tom and could Tom describe you?
I mean, physically.
Yeah. What do you look like? And what sort of personality do you have?
So Tom is very handsome. He's got some nice new glasses that make him look a bit like an architect, but he's not an architect. Mystery number one.
Aspirational.
He's got a wonderful smile and laugh and is very funny. Is very dry and is very kind and caring, but is also very, very sexy.
That was an amazing description.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was lovely.
I enjoyed it muchly. And you, good sir?
I mean, God, I'm supposed to go after that.
Yes.
Shiv is beautiful and kind and sexy and everything I've ever looked for in a partner.
Aww.
Yeah, she's truly amazing. And looking at me with beautiful eyes across the table. So yeah, she's great.
Those cue cards you're reading from are fucking fantastic.
You've read them through, wow.
You just wrote that down from, didn't we?
So now that we know a little bit about you, how did you get started in this weird lifestyle that we've all found ourselves involved in?
We got started in the lifestyle because we were sitting on the sofa one Friday night, I think, and we kind of talked a little bit about it in a very relatively abstract way before. We've both been in kind of ethically non-monogamous relationships and situations in the past, as well as monogamous ones. And we were like, well, why don't we just, would you want to actually do that? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, would you? He was like, yeah. And then in that moment, Tom just reached for his laptop to open up to basically find a club to go to here and there. God. I was like, no, let's just, we set up a profile on Fab. First of all, we didn't know that Swinghub existed at that point. And then and then we just did it. I think we just were like, we both quite like to do this together.
We did have a kind of joke alter ego of Neil and Amy, who would take pictures as Neil and Amy if we looked like we thought we might be swingers in a certain place. So that kind of joke about like being on Fab as Neil and Amy was never something that we realised in that way, but it was just kind of like, oh, look, we look a bit like kind of swingers today. And like...
They sell themselves as a couple.
What does a swinger look like?
I don't know, just maybe undoes a top button or something at a National Trust property.
Wait,
it's just like that kind of...
Could you identify a swinger by how they look?
I'm confused. There's a top button?
You've never done it.
I have never been able to do one, yeah.
Oh, because your neck's so muscular.
Just chonk. It's a chunky neck.
I have a question which isn't on your list. Sorry, I'm just going to
go for it. Go off piste.
So you say you decided to just go into E&M together, but what did that look like for you? So you said you've been in E&M relationships before, but when you talk about, shall we try this, what dynamic was that you were looking to go into together? Was it couples or single people or?
It was couples and potentially single women, I think.
Yeah.
And always together. It was, which is what we still are now and had no intention of changing. Like, we knew that it was something we wanted to be doing together, that we weren't, neither of us had interest in playing separately. It was something that we wanted to go into, like, as a team, I guess.
There was a bit of experience from previous E&M relationships where that playing together was a really important thing. Like, when I say Shiv is like a really amazing partner and the person that I've been kind of waiting for in a way, like kind of I want to be with her and I want to be in that kind of environment with her. I wouldn't want to be separate from her, and I think you feel the same way.
That's fair enough. What I love is that Mrs. H went, I've got a great question.
I thought I had a question.
And the very next one on my list was, how would you describe your dynamic? Which is literally...
I didn't know. I can't read your writing upside down. I can't read your writing full stop, let alone upside
followed
down.
up by, what are you looking for? Which I think we've covered, or you've covered quite delightfully.
Oh, well, I just decided that ergonomically flowed.
Well, what I'd like to find out, so how long have you been doing this for?
It's about 9 months, I think, since about that conversation and joining Fab. I think if I loaded up my Fab, it would say you'd been a member for 9 months. So yeah, since about that.
So you're fairly early in your career, for want of a better phrase. Has it been successful so far? Has there been a lot of looking? Have you found people that you connected with? What's been the deal?
I mean, we haven't really had any problems. I think we've been really lucky living in the area we live in that's had quite a lot of socials, and obviously like your events we've been to, a few others, and we've met some really brilliant people that way and had a really brilliant time. Like, met lovely people that we've seen, some that we've seen like multiple times, others that maybe just once, but in different, So I think we haven't had, touch wood, we haven't had any like bad experiences yet. Like, I'm not to say that we are naive about the fact that they may come in the future, but yeah.
I think we also didn't know what success would look like. It was kind of went into it a little bit in a searching way. In the same way when we went to a club for the first time, you're not quite sure what that's going to be like, but you just kind of go in and oh, it's like this. Oh, I can kind of get down with this. This is kind of fun. And it's the same with the kind of all the experiences we've had. It's like they've all been slightly different, but they've all been like talking about dynamics. It's that kind of two couples. So yeah, it's all been great. It's all been great, but it's not something that I could have 9 months ago sat there and gone, this is what I want. I want in 9 months' time to be sat in a room with a microphone in front of me talking about this. It's like, that would be like, I've no idea, but it's great. I love it all.
It's such an interesting one because we've spoken to lots of different people. We've had all sorts of different journeys. But it seems to be that people that are starting more recently seem to be having a much better run of it.
Oh, than we did.
I
completely agree. Maybe it's because we made all the mistakes And
Trailblaze. We fucked up so
Trailblazed it.
other people don't have to. So altruistic.
I have a theory about this, though. I think it's partly because it is now possibly more socially acceptable because of the amount of socials that exist that didn't exist when we first started all this. There really wasn't the amount of well-run social.
There was just one social,
It was just
as
one.
far as I know, in Waterlooville,
Yeah.
of all places. And it was like going into Mos Eisley Spaceport.
It was really bad. You're right.
Yeah.
Now there's tons of them, and they're all relatively well run. To be fair, they're all muchness. You know, some stand out. For
I
reasons.
disagree on that front.
But they're all organised, and they're all fairly safe hands kind of thing. There's nothing awful about it.
I disagree.
You still disagree?
I still disagree. I think there's certainly a lot more options, but I think with anything, the more options there are, the more chance of idiots there are. It's
There's
like
always going to be idiots everywhere you
Yes,
go.
but what I mean is the more chance that the idiots are running the asylum in this situation. But it's true because, like, if you look at Fab as a CEO, it's got the biggest user base.
It's
still
still
at the
does, yeah.
moment. That may change in future, but with that group of people, with that masses, comes a lot more chance of running into someone that's a dickhead. I think the same is true with socials and events. And the more that crop up, great. It's wonderful to have options, but the more chances there are of you running into one that's going to be fucking awful. We were just very unlucky, I think, in that the first one we went to wasn't to our tastes.
But there weren't really many others.
There weren't any others as far as we knew.
And my point is now there genuinely are a lot. You know, so whatever area you live in, chances are you will find something.
Yeah, and I agree.
And the community seems bigger.
But what I would say, so if you are new and starting out and you go to a social and you think, oh, that wasn't for me, don't worry. There's probably a different one that's going to happen in 8.5 seconds that you can go to that's probably more your group, more your style, more your demographic, whatever it might be that suits your needs better. And it's important not to let those things dishearten you when you go out and about and do this stuff. That would be my take. Anyway, next question. So what I'd like to know is, what have you learned about yourselves?
Oh, that this is really fun. I don't think it would necessarily be as fun. I think the connection with people and the friendship was probably a surprise. With the couples that we've chatted to, it's sometimes quite hard to get onto playing because you're just chatting. And then you get to about 1 a.m. It's like, maybe we should like do something now because it's going to get really late. I've got a full work week. So yeah, I think that connection with people, and I think I've been quite surprised by, like kind of, I guess, like feeling attractive as well. I think it's in a way, having been in long-term relationship to a lot of my life, it's that kind of actually, I've never really had the situation where I've needed to feel attractive or ever been in a long-term relationship. It's just what you do. And I think that kind of, that validation has been really lovely as well, that, you know, people find me attractive and I've got a lot to give, and that's a really lovely thing. So yeah, I think the friendship and that kind of validation's been like a really startling one for me. Don't know about you, Shiv?
Yeah, I think that side of it's been really lovely. In terms of what I've learned about myself, maybe I haven't learned anything new about myself, but maybe it's, like validated or made me feel, and it's not just about feeling a greater self-esteem because people fancy you and want to have sex with you, but it's also about feeling like I'm out there in the world and you're kind of circulating in this ecosystem of people. And I think that actually gives you something and a bit of a sense of yourself that maybe I didn't have before. Maybe since I was maybe younger or was like, I don't know. I think that's probably, I feel like that's been a bit of a shot in the arm for both of us, actually. Just being out there, having like reasons to make an effort and go out and knowing that you're going to meet lovely people and then potentially have really sexy fun, but not necessarily. And we've been to socials and events where it hasn't ended that way, and that's been absolutely fine. But I think I've learned as well a lot about us as a couple. And I mean, we haven't been together that long, really. We've been together, coming up to 3 years. So we entered into this at the kind of 2-year mark in our relationship. And I think that kind of shows how secure we felt quite early on in our relationship, that it was something we were talking about that soon, because most people we meet had been together longer before they started having these conversations.
And I think it's made us even more solid. I think, you know, the way that we talk about this, it's been the way of kind of, getting ready, absolutely splurging on vintage.
Yeah, bonded over the vintage, picking up each other's vintage purchases from the impost locker ahead of an event. Yeah.
So, and kind of events and parties, and it's just so much fun. And I think that level of fun helps. The relationship was already really good, but that level of fun just really bonds you in that kind of, excitement and enjoyment. It's great.
I really love the idea of just going on an adventure. And for me, it's like it's us two versus the world in a way. And we, even if you go to a club and it's shit, or you go to an event and it's shit, the fact that you've done that together and you've shared an experience, the fact that you can laugh about it, hopefully, it's still a positive thing.
I laugh about it before sometimes. I would say true love is removing hair from your loved one's back for the pleasure of another woman. That's true love right there, babe.
Yes.
The ritual, isn't it?
So it is a little ritual. And I think the ritual is really important, that you sort of get ready for things together and you help each other decide what you're going to wear. All those little things.
Hang on. No. The ritual is not me deciding what you are wearing.
Well, I tend to, 10 minutes before we go out, go, what the fuck do I wear, babe?
Yeah, I know.
And you're like, how about this? I'm like, no, never.
I think it's that thought process. It's like I'll be thinking about it a long time in advance. Yeah. And then you kind of put it out of your brain and we get there.
When it's full.
Yeah, which is why for events that we run, there is now a limit on Mrs. H time before she has to have an outfit ready, ideally a month before.
When do I need to buy my candy lamp?
You've got 2 weeks. And if you've not...
Have I really?
Yeah, you've got 2 weeks to sort it. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my fucking shit over it. Because it won't be long and it'll be my birthday. Yes. Feel free to send presents, gentle listeners. And if it's gone by, feel free to retrospectively send them to me. And then there'll be New Year's Eve. And then there'll be, which we've sorted out already.
I've got an outfit for New Year's Eve.
And who did?
You chose.
Which I chose and ordered. It's not a control thing. It's I don't want the stress of you getting stressed when you need to get ready.
Today's episode of Mr. H dresses Mr. A.
Oh, you don't dress me. There's that.
Oh, God, no, I'm not getting involved in that.
No, you couldn't provide enough sparkles for me to wear. But it is interesting that you kind of, that whole jumping in, the adventure, the thing that I think that really brings you close together.
I agree. That is really lovely.
It feels like a shared hobby.
Yes.
And I think there's a lot of couples, like friends that we've got, vanilla friends, and they'll have different hobbies. One goes to football, one goes to whatever, but we go away together for a weekend. And it's a shared adventure, and it's like it feels so special. It's really great.
There's no golf on its shared weekends.
I don't think you'll ever find me playing golf. I think you're fairly safe on that one from me. Probably.
I mean, there's a joke there about holes in one, but all right, we'll move on.
Or 18 holes in one day.
Yes, swingers. There's so many golf places called swingers, which always makes me giggle, but there you go.
So we talked a little bit about what you've learned about each other, but what have you learned about other people? What's been some of your experiences?
I think we've been lucky enough to meet some brilliant people that we would never have met if it wasn't for the lifestyle. And I think we've definitely learned about, I think it's quite easy to live in your own bubble of, I don't know, especially when you get to our age, like early 40s, you've kind of got your group of friends, and it's not that you assume that everyone else is rubbish. You just don't know that anyone else is cool. I think this has given us that opportunity to meet all kinds of different people that we've actually connected with on a really nice level in a way that we would never have in vanilla life, where our paths just wouldn't have crossed, I don't think. And I think that's been really lovely. So I've definitely learned that about people. I've learned that people are all that everyone's different in terms of their dynamic, what they're looking for, what their vibe is, what their boundaries are. Every kind of couple or experience that every couple we've maybe played with or experience we've had has been different because those individuals have been different, but all in a really great way. So I think that's definitely been something that we've learned.
Yeah, their approach to the lifestyle is different as well. Everyone has, that's almost the kind of classic question when you meet someone. It's like, oh, how did you get into the lifestyle and stuff? And what's your dynamic? But it all is all so different. And how they approach the lifestyle. Is it something that they're doing 24/7? Is it something that they do once a month or once a quarter? Or it's just something that they dabble in. It's all very different. And I think that, like you said, the people you wouldn't meet, if you join a golfing club or whatever, I don't play golf, but you'll meet certain people in a golfing bubble and all of this. But this seems to be really cutting across all sorts of different people. And it's so lovely to go to a social and meet all these lovely people. And some you're like, oh, they're really sexy people and I'd like to play with them. Others you're like, I just want to be friends with these people. And it's great. And it's so, that community side of it is so nice. And I think also being surprised by how active the Discord and Telegram and all of those channels are. And it's like, I can't keep up. That's a lot of chats.
Yeah, I put up a chat.
And I think but it's so nice and so validating as well. People really share and open in this community. And I think that level of openness, especially on things like Discord and Telegram and various online chats, you really kind of get that view of like, oh, that's a situation that I wouldn't know what to do in. So those kind of constant, kind of validation about things and understanding and openness, I think has been so lovely. And so that's great.
I think when you meet the right people and you find your tribe, it's tremendous. And certainly that mark around people supporting each other has been such a joy and a surprise, I suppose, in many ways for us. I remember when a bar got broken into, and I use this example a lot, because I will retell a story time and again, you know me. And, we mentioned it in our chat group and actually that very evening, friends had clubbed together and sent us replacement drinks and more to turn up on the day and counselled us for what was going on. Because someone had broken in and nicked all our drinks. And before we knew it, we hadn't even taken a step out of the house and they rallied round to support us.
I still wish I could meet that group of people that broke in because they nicked a bottle of blue Curacao, a bottle of like some awful, like a violet gin or something horrid, and all of our bar snacks.
Yeah, they stole all the pork scratchings.
Gingerbread rum, blue
rum.
Curacao, and scampi fries. Like, what a weird concoction.
What I loved about our friends was that they didn't give us those drinks. They got us really nice drinks too.
Really nice.
So we ended up in a better situation. But I was really touched by that. And I think that was a real indicative sort of the community rallying around. And if there's ever a problem, if there's ever an issue, people often in the chat groups will chuck that out there and people will rally around and chuck their 2 pence in. And often,
same when my parents died, people just were so supportive, like literally outpouring.
Were supportive of your parents dying?
Shut up. They're so supportive and reached out, and I had so many lovely messages, but I had no idea that our reach was so great. Like how many people knew and listened to our lives. And it was just amazing to get all of that and feel so loved. It was lovely.
I think the flip side is, of course, that there are people out there that aren't for you.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And how do you folks, I'm intrigued, how do you deal with people that aren't for you? Do you have a process? Do you have a secret hand sign? A caw that you yell out if you need to be dragged away? What's your process for this?
God, we really did think about that. We thought about the words, or whatever. You're in a club and you're like, your safe word or something. Ribbon. Trapdoor. All that kind of stuff. But I think we just look at each other and kind of know through body language.
Yeah, we're quite attuned in that. We're quite aligned in the type of people. We've got very similar, tastes, I guess. But I think, we have encountered people that aren't for us. We've never encountered them in a way that they were imposing on us in any way. You encounter them and you just know, I'll be polite, but I probably don't want to maybe have a conversation with you or whatever. And I think we haven't been to many, the only clubs that we've been to, an event of yours that was obviously a cracking crowd.
Yay.
Thank you.
Absolutely no wrong-uns allowed. And then we went to another club on a quiet night. Everyone there was really lovely, really friendly. So I think we've done quite well in that way. But also, I think we definitely have an eye that we give each other, and probably an eyebrow raise.
Yeah, I think we know in each other's heads pretty well.
I'm also quite good at talking without moving my lips very much.
It's great for a podcast.
Got to look here.
I think we've also met a lot of people through socials. So we've not necessarily had those awkward fab meetings of someone, you've only seen one picture of them online and then you meet up and it's like, oh. So, it's been more socials and following up from socials. So you've met them already and that works well.
Yeah, and in theory, when you meet those people, it's much more likely to go, wow. And we certainly are early days, we just rock up and let's meet these people that we found on Fab because the socials were not so good. And that was like Russian roulette in many ways, and you just didn't know what you were going to get. But again, that adds to the adventure, I think. You're in the roller coaster and sometimes it works out and most of the time it probably doesn't because you're only going on what you've seen.
Well, let's see how you're going in 2 years. See if you've got any howlers then.
Yeah. I kind of hope we do.
You will, I'm sure you will. I mean, it stands to reason at some point you'll meet someone that's like, no, how did we get into this?
Well, the thing was, I thought we were done with the tricky, problematic moments, and I'm like, yeah, we have cracked this code. We can do this thing, and yet there's still things that crop up on a regular basis that I'm like, oh, I didn't think of that.
I'm trying to remember.
Well, so we talked about the couple that joined the group activity.
Your man down
moment. That was something that we hadn't encountered in that way.
No.
And I think we're not particularly good. Haven't really gotten to clubs by ourselves for a while. Not properly. We tend to go with either friends, so you know what to expect with that situation, or we were hosting the event, in which case we're not really that involved in play at that, or at least and if we are, it will be with people that we know. So we're not often in situations where we put ourselves in that sort of space where that sort of stuff might happen. But you do kind of get, we know how to do this. This is all cool. It's all fine. Not cocky, but you kind of get a bit, self-assured on it. And then all of a sudden something like that will crop up and you'll be like, oh, this isn't, you can still fuck it up. And it can still go wrong. And
our ability to fuck things up is still probably quite high.
Well, we've made a podcast out of it, so we've done quite well. Ultimately,
is we keep having a drink and then it goes downhill.
I don't think it's always drink related.
It's not always drink.
It's just mostly drink related. Yeah, she says, literally, Mrs. H, as she's saying this, has got a glass in hand and is literally
not Monster Bay.
Quaffing probably what Sauvignon. I don't know what it is. But it's delicious.
It is a Sauvignon.
There we go.
It's delightful.
I'm enjoying it.
I've got a question that's not on your list.
If you've got a question that's not on my list.
I can't see your list.
Okay, so you've got a question that might be on my list. Go for it. Do it.
Is there anything that you wish you'd known before getting into this? Something that you think, if only I'd known that?
I can't think of anything. But I think that's because there was a lot of information available to us before we took any steps in terms of podcasts, in terms of online,
And having a kind of interest, if we've both been non-monogamous before, having a kind of interest in this scene and, it being the internet world where you can look at anything and understand anything and kind of look at that. I think, I was went in expecting all of this and the things that were unexpected have all been kind of good things. They're not things that I wouldn't have expected.
Do you think maybe newbies then go into this expecting certain things and then things don't quite work out the way they think they're going to?
I think probably. I'm not sure that that's necessary. I think that if anything, we went into this not knowing what to expect and then were pleasantly surprised that our first few experiences were really positive and really lovely and really hot and incredibly exciting that we whispered to each other about in bed for weeks afterwards. All of that excitement of those first few kind of experiences. I think maybe for me it's not that I wish I knew, but it's a hell of a lot less seedy than I thought it might be.
That's good.
I think there was always that slight thing, especially when before we knew about Swinghub, which I do find less seedy than Fab. Fab was a bit like, oh God, for every couple of profiles where you're like, oh, this lot these look like our kind of people. There was 50 that were like, Jesus. So I think that there was definitely a bit of I really want to do this, but also are we I don't know, not thinking that maybe it was a bit seedy and also a bit transactional. And it hasn't felt transactional even once at all because we've had a genuine connection with everyone we've played with. So I think that's probably actually been in a way something unexpected because I think maybe I thought it was going to feel a bit or that I wouldn't connect with the people, but or either that we wouldn't. I don't know. It's this idea of I think in a traditional set in my head when I think back to maybe my relationship history or my dating history, it's you're either in a romantic relationship or you're fucking. And if you're just fucking, then it's not really any connection there. It's just sex. But actually, there's this friendship and sex bit that we didn't really. I don't think that I recognized it before we were in that situation. And now we've got these sex friendships, which are amazing, and that's a thing that you can have, and it's not a transactional, disconnected act. It's something that also has value and means something between you as a group.
Yeah, I think I'd agree. The first social we went to, I was really surprised that it wasn't first hour, everyone has a drink and then everyone's just snogging or trying to get to the edge of the rules of what people have said of no play, but you might look in a dark corner and there'd be something going on. But I was like, I thought this would be, you wouldn't even know this was a group of swingers. There's like 130 people there and they were all just having drinks and chatting. It was really, really very normal. And I was like, I thought this would be a lot seedier. I was kind of a little bit like, is something going to happen? And it's like, nothing did. It was just all really respectful and really, really genuine.
There you go. Swingers can behave in public.
Can they? Can they really?
Without just devolving to sex and smut.
I think people do push the boundaries, but I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily.
No, it's not.
I think it's I think we like to live in the world of a little bit of naughtiness, even if you can't do very much. It's still like, oh, that's nice.
But it's nice not to live up to society's dim expectations of what swingers do.
I agree.
Dry humping against the bar or whatever. Like cheeky snocks.
Was available. Missed out on so much dry humping. Could have ruined so many more pairs of
I was going to
jeans.
say, come on, the seams of your trousers can't cope with dry humping.
No, probably not. Probably not. So what I'm interested in, what have been your main challenges as you've gone through? Have you had any challenges at all? Have there been any more difficult conversations that you've had to have?
Probably, no, we hadn't had any really tricky, really. I mean, we're lucky that we have really good communication and we haven't come up against anything that's been like a really massive thing. We haven't had any kind of breakdowns over anything lifestyle related. There's been times when I've been like, okay, yeah, I do really want to keep doing lifestyle stuff, but I need to make time to see my friends. I've been ill friends too. And I think sometimes there's been times when I've been like, whoa, like I think Tom is very like, let's go do this. There's amazing opportunities come up, or like, let's do this, let's book this in, whatever. Which I am also a bit like that. And we're still definitely in that early stage of getting very excited about booking things in. But I think there's probably there's been a time, 1 or 2 times where I've been like, can we just take the foot off the gas and can I book in some time to see my friends? And then we can look at what time's left over to book in this stuff. Especially because most of my friends don't live near us, so you have to plan to see them, and it's quite easy for us to go a couple of months and have done lifestyle stuff but not have actually connected with the people that have been in my life for ages. So
Connecting with each other as well.
Yeah, that's probably been one of the biggest lessons.
Yeah, it's quite hard, and you're working full time and you're busy, in the evenings you're tired and all of that, and then it kind of gets to the weekend and then you're off doing a lifestyle thing and you're like, oh, don't really, and really finding that time to have connection with each other. I think in terms of lifestyle stuff that was kind of like a challenge, I thought was a lot of us stuff that we've done so far has been drinking, and there's a lot of drinking in the lifestyle. You know, you go to socials, you meet couples, it's all drinking. And then we went to a club where I was driving, so I couldn't drink, and it was like, is this still going to be as fun, like kind of swapping couples when you're sober? And it was like, turns out it is. But I was a bit, hesitant. Is this going to be the same thing? Is this the same dynamic that we've had before when, I've been absolutely hammered like quite a few times. And it's like, yeah, this is still fun. I'm not totally hammered. Like I'm not, I have control and I have agency and all of this stuff. But in this situation, I was unsure. And it was still great. And it was like, okay, that's good. He's like ticking these things off where you're like, okay, that kind of works. Yeah. And I think there's always that kind of like the early bit of like, am I going to be really jealous about, all of this situation? It's like, it's never kicked in. It's always been just great and lovely to that kind of compersion type stuff of seeing your partner happy and you seeing me happy. And it's all worked really well. So
I think one of the things that I've learned, which is quite like a practical thing, is that when we're swapping, I can get distracted by watching you fucking somebody else, and it distracts me from the connection that I'm trying to have with the other person, because I'm just like, yeah, hang on, I just need to watch, this looks really hot over here, like just because I really love seeing that. And like, and I think maybe I knew that I would really enjoy that, but maybe I find it a bit distracting.
You want to be sat in a cup chair, really, don't you?
Yeah, cupcake chair.
So glad we recorded this. I think that's going to be his new ringtone now. Get on the chair, back to where you belong. So we touched a little bit of on sort of new folks coming in, but what advice would you give to someone that's looking to join the lifestyle? And I have to caveat this, you can't say communicate, because every fucker says communicate. And we know that's important. It's very, very important. But we're going to take it that they have mastered the art of communication far more than any of us lot.
don't communicate.
Yes, don't
Way
communicate.
more fun.
Yeah,
It's just absolutely hell for leather, like 90 degrees. And 90 miles
Just going
an hour.
dry.
Just literally keep thrusting, and if it happens to go in someone, that's fine. Probably not great life advice.
Probably not.
I guess when I said we went in eyes wide open and we kind of understood, I think it's probably because I like to research. I like to understand what I'm going into.
Yep.
And that's probably, if that's not what you're good at or you're very impulsive, then maybe take that step back and really have a look around and look at the different options you've got. Reach out to people, talk to people via messages on the apps. Look at a variety of different apps as well. Like, Swinghub is a big popular app. It might not be for everyone. Fab is a big popular site. Might not be for everyone. There's lots of different types of things out there. And I think working out what you're after and your dynamic and becoming, I guess, eloquent in the lingo of understanding what all of these different things are. What is a hot wife scenario? What is infinite amounts of different setups and dynamics that you can do. So work out what you want. I think we're both quite researchy and we'll go down into Reddit holes of understanding what the different car parks in the New Forest look like for dogs. Not that we do it, but it's kind of it's good to know, right? So I think that highly analytical researching thing, I think, is really important.
But I also think that there's a risk of over-researching because you will never be satisfied that you've got enough information before you step into this. Like, no, as in no one will be, because it's that kind of, you can be constantly researching and trying to make sure you've got all the T's crossed and all the I's dotted and you know absolutely everything. But you are stepping into the unknown if it's something that you haven't done before. But you need to be comfortable with that. But I also think my advice would be just book in a social and just go. Just find one that's coming up in a few weeks' time and just book it and just, get ready together in a travel lodge. We've all been there. So romantic.
Get shares in Travel Lodge.
Yeah.
Very helpful.
And then just go with an open mind.
And let the people who have organised it know that you're new. I think there's loads of currency in letting people know that you're new because, 99% of people we've met in this lifestyle have been so friendly and lovely and accommodating. And I think if you let them know that this isn't something you do all the time, I think there's such friendliness and so much support for that.
I really like your thought about the research, and the example I use in this a lot is when I see couples they want an MMF, and I can't help myself. I'm like, is that what you mean? And they're like, yeah, like 2 guys on my girl is going to be great. And I'm like, that's not what you put. You put the you mean an MFM? And they're like, it doesn't matter. I'm like, fucking does. You are going to have a surprise, my friend, when that dude shows. Obviously, that will come out in the conversation, one hopes. But that level of lingo research or basic understanding is really helpful, and really, particularly when people are talking about things like unicorns and like even when you go down the hot wife route, stags, cucks, all this sort of stuff, it's useful to have a basic terminology in your back pocket. It just reminds me of when I went to see Wayne's World, right? When Wayne's World came out, it came out with a little guide on the lingo. And it was like,
glossary.
Yeah, glossary. Like schwing means this. And and no fue means that. And it was like, because we didn't have SNL over here, like very much. So we didn't know all of these weird phrases from America and Canada, and we had to learn, and there was a guide to it. I remember they gave you a little paper cutout as you went into the cinema.
Really?
Yes, this is true. Maybe we should do that.
Give them out at your event.
Yeah, a little guide.
Have diagrams that
my God.
illustrate what MMF, MFM.
Or have it on T-shirts. Or one on the front, one on the back.
Oh my God.
I'd be like, hey, buddy, can you come over here? I just need to prove a point, right? Yep, so you're asking for what? And now turn around. These are the differences. I think we figured it. We've sussed it. We'll fit that into speed dating sometime.
That and a bed hopper's slang dictionary.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, on a different note, and this is totally irrelevant, but we sold a T-shirt the other day. Do you know that?
I did.
Well, we haven't sold a T-shirt in ages.
Do you know what T-shirt it was?
No. We've got a T-shirt shop, right? So it's all set up through a spreadshirt. So I've done the designs and all the things, and occasionally, just like very randomly, someone will go on and buy a Bed Helpers T-shirt, and this week someone bought one. Yeah. So thank you very much, person.
Random.
Mrs. H will get a Christmas present this year.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be a very small Christmas
Well, I'm
present.
assuming it is a Christmas present for someone.
It could be.
Could be.
Yeah, it could be. Unless they return it, in which case...
There you go. It's not too late to the Christmas presents for people from our shop.
What better Christmas presents than one of our T-shirts or, for example, tickets to the Candyland event? Available still. Always be promoting. Both. Yes, both. You could attach the ticket to the T-shirt.
You could wear the T-shirt.
Bed hopper gift of glory.
Oh, my God.
The best thing to do is to go down on your partner and then present them with this gift.
Or go down your partner wearing the T-shirt.
No, you got to give them the T-shirt first.
Depends what it says on the front.
That's true. It doesn't say MMF yet. I'm there to design that.
No, but the best one is the one that says, I can take a cock, but not a compliment.
Yes.
That is probably the best-selling one.
Yes. You don't have any clue as to
Yes, I do.
I don't think you could even find that shop.
That was based on me being a dickhead.
This is true. Anyways, let's get back to the interview. Thanks for letting us separate on that one, folks. So what I'd like to know, Mrs. H loves room 101.
Oh, I really do.
She does.
I'm always chucking things in there.
She likes throwing stuff in the bin. So what we would like to know is, what's the one thing, and you get one thing each, that you would throw in the bin or throw into room 101 or dispose of forever in the lifestyle? What bad thing don't you like that you would get rid of forever? You can rant as much as you want. And if you've got a few, we'll allow it.
I mean, we did a whole episode about room 101. There was a lot of things I put in there.
Probably it would be people who come to events and just don't. I think when you come into a community and into an event, like, I'm not talking about clubs so much, but more socials, like, you kind of want everyone to feel on an equal footing. And I think that's what I like about the community and about the lifestyle so much, is that it feels like an equal playing field. But there's been a couple of things that we've gone to where there's been groups who have set themselves apart, not interacted, made eye contact, said hello to anyone that's not in their group. Perhaps and it just puts a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. And I think that's definitely something we've experienced. I mean, it's not that there've been people that we've particularly thought, oh, there are kind of people I wish they'd talk to us, because probably we know that they're not. But just, I don't like people conducting themselves in a cliquey or superior way, because I think the best thing about this lifestyle is it's this amazing leveler. Like you said, it cuts through all kinds of different people, and we're all there with the same set of values about a particular thing, and the same kind of aspirations and motivations and attitudes. And I think that's what's lovely about it. So it's probably those people that maybe would go in 101 for me.
Nice. I'll put in a sound effect of them. Like, you hear them just going, yeah, exactly that. I may not do that. That sounds like a lot of it, but I think I'll just be going.
You don't need a trapdoor.
What, do I not?
No.
I need more sound effects, definitely. And you, good sir? Who would you, not who, but what, I suppose, or whom would you throw in the bin?
Might be a person.
Might be a person.
Might be a person.
Yes.
Mine's more abstract. I'm going to put the concept of time and money into room 101.
That is very abstract, but very good.
Because, I don't do. For me, a wanker, if that's the thing.
Wow.
I think she was just offering something. I mean, I've slipped a $5 into her shoe, so it's very transactional.
Just because there's just not enough time. Like, you go to a social, it gets late, the sun's coming up and you're playing, and then you're like, oh, but this could go on for a while. But then you've got to drive home, and then you've got to go to work, and you feel knackered all week. And then you can't really do as much as you want to. Like, there's a finite sum of money that you have, unless you're extremely lucky. And you can't fly out to, fancy places all the time and go to Cancun and hedonism and all these lovely places.
With the ripping and the tearing.
And I think that's the kind of the pacing yourself. And I think, if I could throw in the concept of time and money, then, I mean, it'd be a very different world. But I would like to think that swinging would be a more, I don't know, I could have a much wilder time.
So more effective and more efficient swinging for you is the thing.
You hear that, Mr. H? It is possible to go to bed before 4 a.m.
I do my best work
it
at
must
3.
Be, because Tom just said you should go to bed earlier.
But the thing is though, you tend to end up meeting at like 7 o'clock at the earliest, right? That's like, and I know we've done daytime.
Should give you ample time, but no, we still managed to stay up to 3
I thought you said, Shiv, give me ample time, please. No, I think but then we like to talk because we are a social group of people for the most part, and we like to catch up, particularly if we know people well, and that's part of our dynamic. And we like nice food and nice drinks because we're not fucking monsters. So even if you do those things on a budget or whatever, you're still engaging and interacting. And I think those connections are really important. But the problem is we all love that stuff possibly too much. And then we all end up having such a wonderful time because these people are wonderful that it, like you say, you get to 1 a.m. and it's like,
Still talking.
is someone going to do a thing? And sometimes that's because people aren't so brave in going through that stuff and bringing that stuff up. Sometimes it's because you're just having a nice time and it doesn't even occur to you to be doing that because you're too busy gossiping. And let's be honest, we're in a lifestyle that has some great fucking stories, literally. Like we can, it runs the gamut from even the bad stories, really fucking interesting. But when someone's got a great story or a sexy story, you're hooked. And we can all do that quite sufficiently. And we all have, especially as you go on and you get these experiences. And as you're new, you're kind of almost doing the whole Jaws scene where you're showing where you've got bitten on your leg and where you've got the scratch there and where such and such broke your heart. And then before you know it, it's fucking late. And it's like, oh, babysitting's up for them if they've got kids, or you've got to go somewhere, or inevitably the time runs out and you have to, you've got stuff to do the next day or whatever. So it is really tricky. But also I recognize that it gets to about 3 a.m., particularly if we're drinking. I'm like, yay, this is fun. Party. Let's all do a thing. This will be great.
Oh, you're not going to get the best.
Not everyone has the Energizer Bunny
They really don't.
approach that I often have.
Plus, you're an idiot and you drink espresso martinis at 1:30 a.m.
Yes, because they're amazing because I've made them.
There's caffeine.
But I do think there is a moment where we all need to probably get a bit better at going, okay, like let's we know this is what we need to do and let's set the time out a bit. And I know that's a bit performative and a bit perfunctory,
can be a bit descriptive, and I don't want people to feel like they're a menu item, an agenda.
No, but
you're number 3 on the agenda, let's go.
If you've had that discussion at the start, and like, is this going to be a sexy gin? You could say, okay, look, can we try and start the sexy times before like 11, which I don't think is an awful thing to suggest.
Well, we do have a couple of friends who are very efficient with time, and it cracks me up because one of these particular people inevitably gets to about 10 p.m. and she's like, right, we're going to bedroom now because I need my beauty sleep and then I want to be asleep by 1 o'clock. I'm like, oh, yeah, well done. Come on. That's a great idea. I actually feel a lot better for it the next day. I've actually had some sleep.
This is true. I totally understand. I agree with the principle. It's just by the time I'm like, hey, I've had sex once. I'm really excited. This is good. I could do this again. This would be wonderful.
And then we both raise our eyebrows and go, no.
Normally, it's you and whoever you are playing with at the time raise your eyebrows. And the person that I'm playing with is like, yay, that'll be great. Let's do this. This is a fun time. Sexy, sexy, sexy. And then it's like, put them down, Simon. Go to bed. It's a phrase I'm very familiar with. But yes, I'm 100% with you on the time. And the money thing is terrifying. It
really is. It can burn through cash in this lifestyle.
And it can cause a real sense of fear of missing out. Because you can't do everything. You just physically can't. Money and with babysitting and other stuff and seeing your family and remembering what they look like and all this other stuff. So it does all stack up. And by the time you factor in outfits and
hotel stay,
hotels,
drinks,
pet sitting or whatever, it becomes
a very costly hobby.
Yeah. But it feels very much worth it to me because the fun and enjoyment that I get out is great. It's just I can't really afford many other hobbies as a result. Even my robot purchasing has had to be curtailed ever so slightly.
So what?
I didn't buy one robot last year that I should have done. Terrible situation.
But you had many robots.
Yes, I know. It's curtailed, but I didn't say by much. I'm not a fucking monster.
You had a lot of robots last year.
I know. It's a cool one.
You haven't curtailed it in the slightest.
By one.
You
anyway,
literally have
moving swiftly back to the questions. So this is perhaps the final question for you. So, what is the capital of... what would be your ideal date? What would be you're going to see a couple, presumably a couple... And I'd like both of you or a single lady. How would that flow? Where would you go? What would you do?
Shall I go first?
Go for it.
I think that we would go to like a cocktail bar in the afternoon. Start early, finish early. No 4 a.m. on my perfect date.
4 p.m. 4 p.m.
I want to be home in time for EastEnders.
Is that still a thing?
Apparently.
I said the wrong thing. Yeah, I've got the look.
I don't do normal television.
He really doesn't.
I live on YouTube for the most part.
Wow, that was an amazing.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to have to pay her more than a £5 this time around.
So yeah, it would be a cocktail bar in the afternoon, maybe with some nibbles, like some tapas. Because what I have also learned in the lifestyle is remember to eat. Because I always get a nervous tummy before something, and then I don't really want to eat anything. I remember before the last social we went to, I wasn't feeling great, and I just ate breadsticks for dinner while I was getting ready, and also drinking gin and tonic in the hotel room, and then just felt really quite unwell.
Recipe for disaster.
So that's been factored in.
Yeah.
So it'd probably be like nibbly bits and cocktails, lots of good chatting, and then maybe go back to someone's place that maybe they've got a hot tub. Maybe they haven't. Maybe
nice.
they've just got a really cool, not that we like to screen people on where they live before we go on a date. On their what facilities can you offer me? Have you got wet facility?
Probably not the phrase you should use in this environment. Are your facilities wet right now?
And then just chatting and laughter and listening to some good music and having a few drinks, and then getting down to it by about 8:30.
Oh wow, 8:30. That's very efficient.
Not that we've ever done that. I don't think we've ever done anything before midnight, but I think that I would quite like that. Because also, if you start at 8:30, you've got time to have maybe eat a pizza at midnight and then have a second wind.
Yeah. I mean,
Endorse it.
Consumer Rachel already that's acceptable.
Yeah.
She mentioned second.
I mean, I'd start drinks at 1 because I'm a monster. And yourself?
So is this a date that people we know, or
Whatever. It is your ideal date. So
it'd probably be a handful of couples.
Oh God,
So
he's up the game, isn't he?
People we know and like, and go out somewhere, cocktails, probably by the sea. I like the seaside.
nice.
I'm putting a bit of location in there. Probably a nice warm day. Birds in the distance.
Is there a particular song playing in the background?
No, just the nice sound of the sea.
I assume you've taken your infinite resource back out of room 101 for this date. It's by the sea, the birds, and a nice sunny day. Okay.
And I think probably an Airbnb with a hot tub. I'd never been in a hot tub before being in the lifestyle. And
have you not?
No, and now I realise I really like them now. So yeah, probably a hot tub. Lots of people around and lots of play and fun in group scenarios. I think that's kind of the most exciting for me in that kind of way.
It sounds like the theme to the story to Boogie Nights.
Rollerboat.
Yeah.
She's welcome, obviously.
Definitely cocktails and water, and definitely hot tubs, and definitely lots of people.
This is perfect date. We've not invited any celebrities, or this is we've missed out on a big opportunity.
We could have really escalated here.
We've just gone, let's go for a hot tub. We're in the Hollywood Hills.
Some people that we like, but we're vaguely ambivalent.
I think I want to go on Tom's date. It sounds amazing. He's up the ante with that one.
He's got Hollywood stars.
It's definitely got some sun and water and lots of people involved.
It'll all be filmed, turned into a movie.
Yeah, Heather Graham will be there.
Short run.
Great.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Great vinyl drops on it. Great needle drops. It'd be amazing. We'll love it.
Sounds good.
So I guess the final question, and I know I said that was the final.
That was the final question.
Is there a question that you'd like to ask us? And you can ask us anything if you'd like to.
You said this before we came. You were like, what's the question that you're going to ask Simon and Carolyn? And I was like, we don't need to ask them anything. And you were like, interviews are two-way. I'm like, no, interviews are not two-way.
To be fair, you always get marked down in an interview if you don't ask the employer a question. They're like, no questions. All right, noted.
What are the development opportunities?
What are the career pathways?
Why did the last person leave the role?
When's the probationary period?
Always 6 months. All right.
How long are bathroom breaks?
What are the wet facilities like?
Wet as fuck.
Okay, I've got a question.
Okay.
Maybe it's a big one. I don't know. What's your biggest regret in the lifestyle?
Ooh.
Can be as meta or as Mike.
Go for it, wife.
Don't put me on the spot, you rat.
Well, you just went, ooh, like you had
No,
a thing.
this is marvelling at the great question.
Okay.
Oh, it's a very good question.
I noticed how they didn't go, ooh, after every question I fucking asked. Disrespectful bastards. Ooh. Oh, that's a great question, Ducky Boos.
But we did have a reverend silence after each question to really consider.
I can give one, and I've talked about it a bit recently. So I am a person that has a lot of regrets in life, and I over reflect on stuff. So I still resent lending someone a toy that I lent them like 40 years ago. Like, why did I give?
Get over this.
I can't. I shouldn't have lent
You
them
should get
somebody.
some fucking counselling and get over it.
No.
Do you even remember who the person was?
Yeah, I know the guy's name.
Have you looked him up on stuff?
I know who he is. I know where he lives.
Does he know what he did?
What are you waiting for? Get around there.
No, I did get the toy back, but I resented the fact that I went through
You
the trunk.
got the toy back?
Yeah.
And you're still bearing a grudge about it.
This is why I say, and I over reflect. This is absolutely the thing.
Good Lord.
So
man.
anyway,
All right.
let me
Yeah, all right, go on.
tell my story of much regret. So I think we had a meet where I was on the fence about whether we were going to do anything, or whether I should do anything, or whether I was interested. And we'd had some conversations leading up to that point. And we both kind of said, well, we should probably be a little bit more free and carefree with it and enjoy the moment. Like, hey, it's only a bit of sex. How, it's not going to be awful. It's not going to be terrible. And the experience ended up not being good, I think, in the nicest possible way. Without going into details, I didn't have fun, and I ended up really resenting who I became around these people. And actually, it's really had an impact on my swinging career since that point, in that I'm far less, and I've never been fancy free jumping in like Mrs. H is at all.
You what?
Like
Fancy free jumping in?
Yeah, you are much more open. Like I am the research person, and
It's not like I just go for everything.
Oh no, you don't. But
Thank you.
I like rules.
Very fussy.
But I like chaos within rules. So I like to know what the boundaries are, and then I can run around like Macaulay
I'm a
Culkin and
little
Home
more
Alone. Yeah,
laissez-faire.
you are.
Yes,
Whereas I like to know what the structure is before I can have fun in it. But this encounter really, really has taken away my natural ability to kind of go chuck in and go, yeah, I'll just do this. And I'm much more reticent to take risks and enjoy. Like, I think there's something quite freeing about going, it's just a bit of fun. It'll be okay. And I really struggle to do that now, because I know the consequences of how I felt before really caught up with me. And even when we went to Spicy Island, I was very much like, there were opportunities where we could have had some fun and we didn't. And I think old me or older me or younger me, I guess, if that makes sense. Time, not a great sort of lineage here, but probably would have been a bit more like, oh, that'll be fun. Let's just jump in and do that. More modern, up-to-date me is a bit more like, oh, the last time I did that didn't end well. You probably shouldn't do that. And I regret having that, going for that experience, because I think it's really had an impact on the way I approach stuff. I'm getting better within it, and I am getting closer to where I used to be, but I carry and it's not even a bad scar. It's just I didn't like what I became with these people, and I didn't like the experience that we had, and I don't want that to happen again. So that's kind of my regret. That got a bit deep, didn't it? I suppose eventually.
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
Surprised for your storytelling.
Yeah, yours is like, oh, fuck me, I hated that She-Ra outfit I wore in Desire.
I did.
I know.
Not my biggest regret.
Okay. What was your biggest
I
regret?
do have a regret.
Is it?
My regret probably is probably kidded myself by just faking orgasms in the first couple of years. And the reason I did that was because I just didn't think I ever would have one. And I gave up trying to achieve it. And in the end, it was easier to just go with what I thought was a quicker end things, because I felt like I didn't want to bother people by trying to achieve something I just thought was not achievable. But I was really just ended up not enjoying things myself as a result. And it was a complete waste of time, really, because why not be honest about it?
Well, and we had that conversation a lot of the time. I also remember the first time someone else got you there.
Oh, yeah.
And then you cried for like an hour, like proper ugly cried.
It's
Which is a sexy move. It was like we knew that it was going to happen.
I didn't.
Well, I say we, the other partner and I. Yeah. So we stopped and watched it, and then it was really hard to carry on having sex with her when you were crying.
Well, I cried.
Spoiled it
into my Sauvignon.
Quite difficult. Yeah. See what you've done now? You've asked us a really upsetting question.
Sorry, quite a negative.
No.
No, it's fine.
No, it's No, it's a good question. I enjoyed it muchly.
Yeah.
It says reflecting
That's
past trauma. Do you have a question for us? You will.
What do you think the lifestyles? Where has it taken you? If you hadn't been in the lifestyle, what's the kind of summing up the one thing
Where it's taken us.
in terms of, could be couple dynamic, could be where you are in your life now.
I didn't think it was going to take us around the world, frankly, but it literally physically has. But also, I should say, great question.
Yeah. Great question.
Great question. Thank you, sir. I was surprised by how far it physically took us. And, because we are often the people that are reticent to leave like a little bubble sometimes. And, hence why if we're doing a social 9 times out of 10, it's within 15 minutes from our house because it's like, travel easier and convenient. But we've ended up in the Netherlands, we've ended up in Mexico, in Australia, in the States. Some of it's through the podcast, some of it's through just people that we've met. And that's been something I never expected to have friends so far reaching and that would support us and help us and also help expand our own horizons in terms of where we've gone and where we've been. We've been very fortunate. And this goes back to your thought on money. We've also fucking broke as a result. But the memories and the thousands of photographs that we've taken will forever live on in our hearts, along with those nice people that we've met and continue to stay in touch with to this day.
Once again, very whimsical. What a beautiful answer. Where has it taken us? Well, for me, it's allowed us to experience things as a couple, but have also enhanced our own kind of agendas, if you like. Not that I want to say agenda because that sounds a bit
An agenda.
No.
It's got a hit list. If you open her cupboard door, it's like the people that she wants to fuck. It's terrifying.
No, what I mean is we've had
list.
shared experiences as a couple, but those shared experiences have allowed us to flourish in our own kind of personalities as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, when I met you, I was very honest and told you I was bisexual and didn't really want to suppress that. But also being in this kind of lifestyle has allowed me to explore that safely, but with your love and support, I hope. It's allowed me to express that side of myself without having to suppress it. And I've been really grateful for the opportunities that this has given us. And in the same way, I hope it's given you, the opportunities to grow as a person, because I think you're so much more confident now. And
said confident, not competent, right?
Confident. You're so much more confident and so much more comfortable in your skin, I think. And I think what we've done together has allowed that to flourish. So I think it's personal growth, really, but as a shared experience. So I think that's the thing this has given us, me.
There we go. Marvellous. Excellent questions all round. High fives, everyone.
Excellent.
So, rounding up, I want to say a massive, massive, massive thank you to Carolyn for answering that question. So,
It's the first time you ever thanked me on a podcast.
No, it's not.
You normally just say, oh, you're here again.
I've thanked you off many times. Anyway, I want to say a huge thank you to Shiv and Tom for coming along, coming to our house to record with us as well. It's been a delight. Watching those facial expressions as well. The wanker signs at the start was great.
I won't forget the EastEnders look.
Yes.
God.
The Shiv is going to be what happens to my side as I'm walking out, prison style.
Oh my God, Pat Butcher would have been proud of that look. Absolutely evil.
If people want to find you out in the world, can they? Are you on Swinghub? Do you want to give out your profile or do you want to remain quietly silent about it?
I mean, it's not hard to find Shiv and Tom.
on Swinghub and Fab.
Yeah, it's Shiv ampersand Tom on Swinghub.
Yeah.
Shiv and Tom, the word and on mix things up.
Quite dynamic.
So is it and on Fab and ampersand on Swinghub?
Uh-huh.
Nice. Just so we're clear. And Shiv is spelled how?
SHIV.
What made you not go with Shank?
Shank and Tom sounds like a UK garage act. Yes.
Like Chakademus and Pliers.
I don't think they were ever a garage act.
Yeah, but also, that was a band, right? Chakademus and Pliers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pliers, Shank.
It's like the new Ant and Dec. But thank you for joining us, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I just want to say a huge thank you to Shiv and Tom for coming along, drinking our wine, having some food.
Oh,
And
yeah,
more
we did
importantly,
drink wine, didn't we?
We did drink wine.
Excellent stuff.
And for coming onto the podcast and answering the questions in a really wonderful way. It was really good finding out about them. Enjoyed sort of getting to know a bit more about their story. I'm sure, because this is relatively early days for them as both a couple and as folks in the lifestyle, it'll be really, really fun to see how that develops and where they go next.
I think your New Year's resolution for 2025 is to re-record a new interview song for me.
Oh, really?
Because I hate that one.
I've got something that's just for you.
And you can learn how to do it in a different key.
No, I really can't.
Which will maybe elevate my voice rather than making me sound like some comedy sketch.
I'll just get AI to do it now. It's so much easier. In fact, I can probably put your voice into AI and then get it to sing it.
I don't even have to be here anymore, basically, is what you're saying.
I didn't like to say.
I wonder if AI is going to fold your trousers for you.
No, it's not.
No, well, there you go.
It is not my job.
It can't replace everything.
No, I know it cannot replace everything. But
I wonder what an AI me would look like in like real life. Would I have like a hand grafted on my back or something?
What?
AI all morphs the pictures, doesn't it? It makes them
It
look
can't
a bit
do
weird.
hands and digits. It's
Yeah,
really
you
struggles
end
with
up
that.
like with a third limb.
Yeah, it's a curious thing. It's getting better though. So it was interesting because I did an AI course quite recently for work, talking all about AI and how it can support your jobs, but also can sort of limit your creativity and all this interesting stuff. And the guy made a really, really valid point. He said the AI you use now will be the worst AI that you'll ever use.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy because obviously it's only going to get better, right? It's only going to improve and it's only going to be able to do more. But we, as part of our exercise at work, they were like, you've got 10 minutes to muck around and do what you want and be creative or use it to solve work-based problems. So a few of us at a table, we decided that we weren't going to do that, that we'd actually get it to produce some lyrics and then get it to sing that song as an AI and then produce a brand for the band that we'd made up and also a single cover for the single that we'd put together.
Wow.
And it was actually...
It was Christmas single.
It wasn't Christmassy, though we did do a Christmas version of it. What I quite like is you could select through and go, all right, this is a rock and roll thing and this is an indie version and this is a Christmas one. And, other things were available, of course. But it took, in less than 5 minutes, that produced the whole...
And it would have taken you, ages.
Ages to do the same thing. Me, much longer, actually, because I had to learn the instruments and all that sort of nonsense. But it's kind of crazy how quickly you can just turn that stuff out. So it'll be fascinating to see how it can support us and, how we can, can you get an AI bot doing all your, fabmin?
Oh my God. I'd love that. I'm going to find myself one.
It's pretty much me then, isn't it, for you? It's just someone
You're so much more than an AI bot, babe.
I know. It's because
AI bot, babe.
AI bot, babe. Yeah. Is that your new porn name?
Yeah.
AI bot, babe. Anyways, we want to say a huge thank you to Shiv and Tom again for coming along. And Mrs. H, do you want to do your thing?
I do. Well, thank you for hopping into our bed.
Secret bit at the end, but you were wrong. We have no value to add this time round. Ha 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 ha!